Hello, I'm Samuli Knuti from the Finnish publisher WSOY, and I'm talking to the Finnish author Miki Liukkonen. Um, your last book, O, came out 2 years ago, nearly. Let's talk about the title first. Is it like O, or is it symbol, or what?
It's really just symbol, so but you can say it like O or zero even, but the idea is that you can pronounce it really, so it's just you have to like point it out.
How did you come up with such a strange title for your novel?
Well, if you read the novel, you will discover many reasons why this book has that name. There's many things that go into this circle thinking, and into this structure of the whole novel is like a circle. So it just came like naturally to me.
Yes, one thing that often gets overlooked is that your writing is very funny. Do you consider yourself a humorist?
Not really, but I like to write funny stuff sometimes, because humor is a way to achieve a reader much more directly, I think, and it's really good way to point out very deep philosophical issues through humor, because it's more like straightforward and it sinks in the reader's mind.
O has been compared to many American postmodernists and their huge works like Thomas Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow and David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest, and perhaps also William Gaddis's The Recognitions. Do you feel that you are continuing that tradition as those writers, more than perhaps in the Finnish fiction tradition?
Yeah, well, yes, maybe in some sense, yeah, and I take that just a compliment to be mentioned with David Foster Wallace and Thomas Pynchon, because I admire those writers really much, and so it's really nice to hear things like that, and I think I continued just tradition in some sense, yes.
What kind of feedback do you usually get from your readers?
Well, the O has gotten a really great feedback, so it's been a really successful in that matter. So I think that puts a little bit pressure for my next novel, because I think I have to make even better book. So it's really hard, but overall the feedback has been really positive, and I really haven't got any negative reviews, maybe 2 or something like that, which is kind of worrying also.
Do you get fan mail feedback that could be perhaps labeled more as fan mail as usual?
Yeah,
to the author.
Yeah, I got really much fan mail, but it's also really not straightly about my books. It's mainly about my public appearance or something like that. So.
Hello, I'm Samuli Knuti. I'm an editor for the Finnish publisher WSOY, and this is Finnish author Miki Liukkonen. We are discussing his new novel, Master of Silence. How does it differ from your first 2 novels, like Lapset auringon alla, which came out 6 years ago, and O, which came out 2 years ago?
Well, most of all, I think it's the best writing I have done so far. The sentences are more completed, and I think a little bit more poetic, and the book in whole is just more in structured, more concrete. So it's like a complete package more than O or Children Under the Sun. I feel like that.
The title, Master of Silence, it's very Zen. Does it have anything to do with Eastern philosophy or meditation or things?
No, it really it means refers to death, and also there's really much noise in silence. So there's a paradox in the title also. So if you are in complete silent situation or something like that, then your inner voice will start to ramble, and it can be quite chaotic, especially nowadays. So it's a paradoxical name, and it doesn't have anything to do with Eastern philosophy or Zen or something like that.
There's a couple of suspicious deaths in your novel, even a murder. Is this sort of like your take on the detective novel?
Yeah, you can say that. I just wanted to write a book where there's as little as possible movement, so that characters are basically staying still all the time, but it's also murder mystery. So I like the idea of stillness with this mystery, and so it's like a detective novel in a coma.
Your last novel, Oh, the central theme in that was neuroses and phobias and things like that. And you already mentioned that in your new novel, The Master of Silence, the overriding theme is loneliness. What do you think? Are we doomed to be lonely, we who live in this age in a Western society?
Yeah, I really believe that loneliness is one of the major issues in modern era. Which is paradoxical because we live in an age where social media is really important and people can connect all over the world, and the world is become more smaller and more interactive, but at the same time we are staying in our homes, just looking at our screens and communicating with people. So there's no real authentic human communication really happening. So I think that's one of the things that interest me and bothers me and depresses me also. So I wanted to write something about that, and it's not a new thing. I mean, there's been studies also that people are more lonely nowadays than ever. So I just wanted to write about my experience and like my style.
People often think that since you're a young writer, you lead a bohemian lifestyle, but in order to write such huge books as Oh, it obviously can't be like that.
I have my bohemian seasons, or how do you say it, but this book was really just about sitting alone at home, writing every day like 10 hours, not really resting at all, like 7 days a week. And so it was really, I was really disciplined and just wanted to write a really good book.
What is the biggest misconception that the general public, the readers, usually have of you?
Well, that I'm a narcissistic, alcoholic, bohemian, walking catastrophe, which is not true. Maybe a little bit true, but not the whole truth.
Do you think that this age, the early 21st century, is a good time to be an author?
Well, yes, I think the words are more important nowadays than they have been for a long time, because I think we need more truths, and the world has become so chaotic and full of information that we need something like to compress that information and make it like more sensible and accessible for people, and so they can think themselves and make their own opinions and look at the world in different angles than by angles that politicians or people like that are saying them to look.
How do you feel about Finnish language?
Well, it's hard to say because I'm Finnish, so I just I just breathe it. So well, I think it's, well, I of course I love it because I write in Finnish, so it's hard weird question. I can't answer that.
I mean, because usually many Finnish authors always talk about loud how they love Finnish language and all its curiosities. I wonder whether you have the same relationship to language, because many of the authors that you have read and praised come from America, or so. I wondered if you. Do you ever feel that it would have been nice to be able to write in English also?
Yeah, of course. But I'm just not so good at writing in English, so I can't do that.
But about Finnish language, you are very brilliant in handling the language, which is apparent in O. In one interview, you said that when you wrote it, you had a thesaurus about all the Finnish words that you wanted to include in the novel, and when you sort of ran out of words, different words to use, so that was the logical step to close the novel.
Yeah, that's true. I just wanted to be as rich in language as possible. So I just wanted to use so many words as I can, not just for the sake of putting words in there, but I think it was important for the essence of the book and part of the like aesthetic appearance of the book and its themes.
Thank you for listening and watching.